Mazda is working on a new electric sports car, the new Miata, the MX-5. It's going to be electric. And, if this thing gets to market before Mazda goes bankrupt, it's going to be pretty damn good. I'm kind of excited for it, actually. Mazda, they don't really make any great electric cars, but I do think they make one of the greatest sports cars in the history of the automotive industry. The Mazda Miata, or the Mazda MX-5, as some countries call it, it's one of the best sports cars ever. It's just the right handling balance, it's lightweight, it's good value for money, and Mazda wants to make an electric version. In fact, it's put some patents in the United States showing how it plans to make its next Mazda EV, which is going to be a convertible. And to be honest, I think this is really good because I have had so many people email say, I want an electric convertible. I want an a lightweight electric sports car. This could be exactly what you're after. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to have you with us. I'll be at the Melbourne EV Auto Show, 27th, 28th, and 29th of June. Come. I'll put a link in the description. You'll get not a free, you get a discount anyway. So, in a world where electric SUVs, some people can think they're a bit boring. I don't agree with that. And Solus, I don't agree with that either. And Mazda, they've said that they're obsessed with internal combustion. They've said this publicly, that their goal over the next decade is to perfect the internal combustion engine. I think that's insane, but a recent patent filing shows the company is thinking about its electric future, one that, well, wears an MX-5 badge or a Mazda Miata badge. A patent was filed under the US Patent and Trademark Office in October of last year, and we now know more information about this. This was quite a while ago, so I'm going to guess that Mazda are probably well into development of this car, or maybe potentially one of Mazda's partners in China will make it as well. We've seen in the patent, there are some diagrams of a compact two-door sports car that basically looks like an MX-5 or a Miata, but it has an electric powertrain. And it's a little bit different to the way that EVs are made today. Basically, you can see there's a skateboard style platform, which is, all EVs pretty much have that. There's a large battery pack, which is flat under the floor. I've got to point out that's going to be a big benefit over having an engine sitting up higher in a bonnet, right? You're already looking at perfect 50-50 weight distribution. By just having that battery pack low as well, you're going to have that weight lower center of gravity is going to result in better handling. So here's the thing though, Mazda are thinking if you've got the battery low in the car, it's really good for weight distribution, but not as good for being low to the ground. The Mazda convertible is very low to the ground. Mazda's proposed workaround for this, though, is to stack the battery cells vertically in a column running through what would traditionally be the transmission tunnel. In the patent, Mazda says that this layout places the center of gravity closer to the vehicle's midpoint, helping to reduce your moment of inertia. This translates to better agility, more balanced handling, and to be honest, to being just simply a better experience than the internal combustion version. That's what I think anyway. This design will include battery modules behind the seats to even the weight out, and there'll be a smaller battery pack positioned in front of the passenger. So Mazda are basically saying, we'll put the battery in 3 locations, one at the front, one at the rear, one to the sides, and that will mean the weight will be distributed perfectly. In addition, Mazda are going to do something I think is more interesting than this, and this is the real key to this kind of what I would say is kind of a revolutionary way of making a performance car. Rather than the rear motor being mounted between the rear wheels, the motor is going to be positioned in the center tunnel, so basically where the transmission tunnel is, in the center of the car, transmitting power through a differential to the rear wheels. This will help to concentrate most of the weight to the center of the car, rather than weight being over the rear wheels. So having that motor in the middle of the car is going to enable Mazda to have incredible weight distribution in the car, which will be really ideal for handling. There's just no way of doing this with an internal combustion engine vehicle without spending literally millions of dollars with carbon fiber and all kinds of advanced electronics and all this kind of stuff. You can't really do it. But in an EV, you can really perfect the sports car. Think about it, it's just logical, it's physics. The other thing worth mentioning is that now you can actually make EVs a lot lighter than what people realize. There is an EV that is made by a company owned by Xiaomi in China, and the weight is less. It's about actually it's about similar to a Mazda Miata. It's about 1,200 kilograms. Similar size to a Miata. It's a little, in fact, slightly bigger. It has a roof, so it's a two-door coupe, and it actually has a 60 kilowatt hour battery, and yet it only weighs 1,200 kilograms. But apparently, that car, people are saying it's incredibly good because of the points I mentioned before, the really good weight and handling balance, and having that weight distributed evenly across the car. Now, the other thing worth mentioning is that battery packs are getting lighter due to structural batteries, plus the motors are getting lighter. So electric motors, some of them are just remarkably lightweight. Now you're looking at, weight of, say, 45 to 55 kilograms for literally triple the power of what you have in a Mazda Miata MX-5 today. I think the MX-5 or the Miata of the future, if it ever comes to be, if Mazda doesn't go bankrupt before then, will be a phenomenal car, one worth getting excited about. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What I'm saying here? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye. Mazda is about to be absolutely battered in the United States, where, to be honest, that's its most important car market. It doesn't make cars in America. Well, it only makes one model. So it's trying to make electric cars in China and, take some market share in China maybe, and also sell those electric cars it's making in China outside of China to countries like maybe potentially Australia, Europe as well. Mazda's new electric car in China has been surprisingly popular. In fact, this is the electric car made by a legacy automaker that has had the most success. This model has had the most success of any EV I've seen. I mean, I have not seen a Toyota EV or a Nissan EV or a Volkswagen EV or an EV from any of those brands get 20,000 pre-orders in the Chinese bloodbath within only a week's time. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Now, there's two cars that Mazda have actually revealed. One of them is called the EZ60 SUV. And I should mention this is an EV, but there's also a non-EV. There's also a plug-in hybrid version. But Mazda also revealed the EZ6, which is the sedan version of the same car. I personally prefer the SUV version, but let's have a look at both of them. Mazda has received nearly 20,000 pre-orders for the EZ60, which is a remarkably good result. And they're betting on getting 300,000 annual sales in China from their joint venture. Now, I'm going to guess that Mazda are not realistically thinking they're going to sell 300,000 of these new cars in China alone by they're saying they're going to do this by 2027, within 2 years' time. So it looks to me as though Mazda are really hoping that people outside of China will buy these as well.